Peace, 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 y'all. We back in the building. You know what I mean? And this is part 2 of the Black Lives Matter breakdown. Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Man, and I'm being sarcastic because this shit is some bullshit, y'all. And I'm trying to get y'all to see this shit. What I'm trying to get y'all to see is that these niggas is promoting homosexuality and transgender death styles. Because like I said before, homosexuality nor transgenderism isn't a lifestyle. It's not a lifestyle. According to the words of Sister Melanin Sutek, she said homosexuality is a death style. It's not a lifestyle. And I completely understand that, because how are we going to say it's a lifestyle when it's not a style that's producing life or is about life? If you're living a way of life or if you're living in a way that is that's not promoting reproduction, or rather say procreation, then obviously you're not about life. You're doing something in your life that's not going to reproduce your life. So even if people don't agree with that way of life, you live in a way that's not going to reproduce that way of life, because you're not procreating with the complement sex. I'm not going to say opposite sex, but not opposites. We complement each other. We don't oppose each other. So you're not reproducing with the complement sex. So therefore, you're not producing life. So that's not a lifestyle. That's a death style. You know what I'm saying? So now with that, out the way, we can realize that this whole Black Lives Matter, how could they be talking about they for black people when they're actually trying to weaken our struggle? You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, I'll say that because, when we think of Black Revolution, you think of Black Panthers, you think of Malcolm X, you think of, strong black men and women standing for our people. That don't have nothing to do with no homosexuality. You know what I'm saying? But they're using that as a way to make their way into the black community and make it seem like they're doing something for our people, and they're actually hindering us in the long run. My phone. Ooh. So here we go. We all go into it. Now, we read some of this before in the part 1, so y'all got to go to the video before this and see the whole breakdown of all of this that I broke down. I read through most of this before, but we're going to come up to, like I said, and I broke down how they stole that quote right there. I'm bringing from here and go down. They stole this quote from Dr. Umar Johnson, who said we are unapologetically African, and they say unapologetically black. Now, we know, like I just broke down in the last video, about the SF 181 form, the Standard Form 181 on race and ethnicity identification. They identify black people as having origins in any other racial groups of Africa, which means that we don't have actual national or specific national origin in this world. So I guess in all those categories, we would be the 85% of that, because we don't know our origin in this world. And they think we're supposed to just jump off a boat in Africa and say, oh, we're part of any racial group of Africa. Nah, that's not actual fact. Let me bring y'all back real fast. Yeah, see? It's called the SF 181 form on race, on ethnicity and race identification. See, that gives a glare in my window. See that? See, so right down here, it says black or African American. having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Which is to say, what, we just gonna jump off a boat anywhere in Africa and say, oh yeah, we part of y'all, so, accept us? Like, nah, it doesn't work like that. But all these other people, as you can see, all these other people have origins in a specific geographic location. Now, to declare nationality, you don't necessarily need a geographic location, but wouldn't it be nice to have one so we can say specifically where the fuck we going back to in Africa? You know how big Africa is? You know how many so-called racial groups, how many black racial groups there are in Africa? I mean, come on now. There's over 54 states or countries in Africa, and then you got hundreds of thousands of tribes within that country. So you know how many, within those countries, so you know how many racial black groups there would be? There's hundreds of thousands. How are we going to pick and choose one? See, so, or is that saying that we don't have to choose one? We could just say we're of any of those racial groups and just be accepted? Nah, I don't think that's what it is. But anyway, let me go back to this Black Lives Matter. Let me not spend so much time talking. Let me get to the main point. Okay, so it says, we are unapologetically black. They stole the quote from Dr. Umar Johnson, which is unapologetically African, which will give us some kind of Pan-African link to African nations and give us some kind of nationality, but we settle for black. So, we define black as a term which gives us a low legal status and social status, as we just seen. So now, it says also, to love and desire freedom and justice for ourselves is a prerequisite for wanting the same for others. So in other words, they're saying they need to get justice and freedom for black people first before anybody else. Okay, that sounds good, but why is all these white people out there marching? So anyway, we see ourselves as part of the global black family. Global black family, really? What's that? Who's the global black family? People around the globe don't even acknowledge themselves as black, so what are you talking about? Anyway, this is some made up shit. And we are aware of the different ways we are impacted or privileged as black people who exist in different parts of the world. Really? We are guided by the fact that all Black Lives Matter, regardless of, now peep this. This is where it gets deep, y'all. We are guided by the fact, this is what they're guided by, and they believe this is a fact. We are guided by the fact that all Black Lives Matter, regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity. See how they put sexual identity first? Because that's what they about, sexual identity. And who the fuck is confused about their sexual identity? We know we heterosexual. We like women or we like men. If you're a man, you like women. If you're a woman, you like men. We're not confused about that. So why would they put the first thing, actual or perceived sexual identity, gender expression? Like, nigga, we know what our sexual identity is. We know if we a boy or girl. We can look between our legs. Our parents had told us since we was young. You got a wee-wee, you a boy. You got a kitty, you a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. We know that since we was little. Gender expression. Our parents told us since we was little. Boy, you a boy. You don't talk like that. You don't act like that. Stop bending your wrists like that. Stop talking like that. Don't be acting like that. You a boy. And if it's a little girl, don't be out there climbing trees and playing with them boys. You a girl. Come in here and play with these little dolls or something, or, play with your sisters. Because she's a girl. So we know about gender expression. Come on now. Economic status. We know we black people. We've been growing up in the hood. We've been poor. We've been broke. We've been disenfranchised as a people. We know that. Ability, disability, we know that. Religious beliefs or disbeliefs, we know that. Black people are the most religious people in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't give us religion. Immigration status, we know damn well we was here before slavery and we was brought over here during slavery. So we ain't necessarily immigrants. We didn't migrate here necessarily. You know what I mean? We always been here or we was brought here. Or location. We know where the fuck we at. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we make space now, peep this. Now, after they just expressed all that sexual identity, perceived sexual identity, gender expression, blah, 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 blah. Then they say, we make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. Lead what, nigga? Lead who? They're not leading me. Ain't no fucking transgender motherfucker leading me. Like, they don't even acknowledge themselves as men or women. So how they gonna represent men or women? And even though they talk Black Lives Matter, a lot of these homosexual people be talking that color doesn't matter shit. So how you want a movement talking about Black Lives Matter and then you talking that faggoty color doesn't matter shit? So see, it's a trick, y'all. They fool you with a branding or a label such as Black Lives Matter, but then when you join the movement, there's a bunch of faggoty ass niggas in there talking about color doesn't matter and all lives matter. You know, we should all just come together and see what I'm saying? And then you get caught up in all that faggoty shit. And the majority of those black people out there that's in that movement are freaking homosexuals. That's a fact. You can watch the video I did, the live stream I did during the protests in Harlem, where there was some LGBT motherfuckers out there. It wasn't on some Black Lives Matter shit. It was on some LGBT shit. And then they was out there talking about some kill cops, yelling in the crowd, about kill cops. And I turned around and I put these niggas on blast. I'm like, yo, my nigga, calm down with all that shit, man. Don't come in no crowd of melanated people yelling that shit out. You know what I'm saying? Because you could cause attention. What if the cops come in the crowd talking some, who said kill cops? And start going through the crowd on some wild shit. And you just cause a big old commotion as to where these people here so-called protesting, even though the protest is some bullshit, but whatever. These people here protesting, trying to bring awareness to something, and you distracting, being a heckler, saying some dumb shit. So good thing I was there because nobody else said anything. I turned around and shut that shit down. You know what I mean? Which is potentially shutting down a commotion that these idiots could have caused out there yelling that shit. And I told them, I'm like, yo, y'all niggas out here yelling that shit. Y'all niggas ain't even armed. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no guns. You ain't even got boots on. And they get like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't armed up. You ain't strapped. You ain't militant. None of y'all are militant. So stop acting like some kill cops. Like you actually gonna do that. How you gonna kill cops? With your bare hands? No, there's ways we can kill them. It doesn't have to be violent. Man, shut the fuck up. You say something like kill cops, nigga, that incites violence. And when the cops come through, your punk ass ain't gonna do shit. So don't yell no shit like that in no damn crowd like that, man. You know what I mean? Like, really. So anyway, then, I totally understand where you're coming from, but, you have to understand how I feel. My nigga, I'm not interested in how you feel. Tell me what you think. Use your intelligence, not your emotions. Don't come out here with all this how you feel stuff, man. You know what I mean? That's black people problem. We always getting caught up in emotions and talking about how we feel shit, man. Tell me what you think and what you know and how you intellectually perceive this situation. You know what I'm saying? Peace to Jay Johnson in the building. Appreciate your attendance. You get the first apple of this session. You know what I mean? There's somebody else that was on the top that wanted to link in, but I don't know why. But yeah, anyway, so this is on the Black Lives Matter website. You can go on their website and click on the What We Believe section of their website, and this is what they believe. It says, we make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. So these are the type of people that they making space for to participate in their movement and lead. So transgender brothers and sisters are the ones leading this movement, and this is for black people. You see what I'm saying? Nah, man. Look, we are self-reflective and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk, especially black trans women who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. So they act like they're protecting transgender women. Well, I got a statement. If you're a transgender woman, meaning you're a woman trying to turn yourself into a man, then goddamn it, don't you got the strength to defend yourself since you think and feel you're a man now? So what you need some people to protect your ass. Be a man and protect yourself, goddamn it, right? You're a man now, right? So be a man. See what I'm saying? See, so that's why I say, man. That's why I say, see, they got the transgender shit layered with the homosexuality. So even if you're a transgender person, you got homosexuals that are supposed to be your people and defending you and representing you and so forth. So even as a transgender, you ain't got nobody strong to protect you because they all homoed out. So you see what I'm saying? So come on, man. Get out of here, man. So what? Are the transgender women in the movement supposed to be y'all force and the ones that's gonna fight against the police? A bunch of transgender women? That's who's gonna fight the police? Man, this is some sick, crazy shit, y'all. Fuck out of here. Black Lives Matter, and they twisting us all up like this. Come on, y'all. This ain't for us. This is not for us. This is off their website, y'all. Read their shit and see what they believe. This is what they believe. Go on their website. You know what I'm saying? This is the shit that, now, okay, let's go on. We build a space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are censored. So they just said we build a space that affirms black women, that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. So you trying to tell me in Black Lives Matter movement is trying to take the focus of the black man being the center of his family or the environment because they consider that to be sexist or misogyny? No, that is the same structure that every other family has. The white man is the head of his family and they're successful, right? The Arab man is the head of his family and they're successful. The Spanish poppy, he the head of his family and they're successful. The Chin Lee, he the head of his family, and Chinese people, they successful. Why, when it comes to the black community, all of a sudden, the black man is not supposed to be the head of his family? Oh, the woman is supposed to be free of sexism and misogyny. Fuck out of here, man. And I'm not saying that sexism and misogyny doesn't exist, but I'm saying it's not that deep in the black community the way they're trying to make it seem. Like black men ain't on some tyrant shit trying to control their women and acting all crazy and wild. Fuck out of here. If anything, black women acting so ratchet, they so goddamn hard to control. So how the hell is a black man being control over black women? Black women ain't even controlling their damn self. So that's some bullshit. See what I'm saying? This is not a true reflection of our lives and what we actually experience on a day-to-day basis. And they trying to say, and they said we build space to that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. So you're saying men, and especially since it's dealing with black people, Black Lives Matter. So in the lives of black people, and specifically black men, you saying that you want to make it free from sexism, misogyny, okay, I could agree with that. But environments in which men are centered, you don't want the men to be the center of his family? So what is a man supposed to be? I mean, come on, really. If he's not the center of his family, what is he? Just some nigga that's there? See what I'm saying? And then we talk about Black Lives Matter and you trying to rebuild the black community. How you gonna rebuild it when you say you believe in making the black man not the center of his family? You see what I'm saying? So this movement is not for us, y'all. This is, read their shit. This is what they say. So, all right, it says, we practice empathy. We engage comrades with the intent to learn about and connect with their context. So, okay, we engage comrades. So what comrades? What people do Black Lives Matter link up with or associate with? Who are they connected with? They're not connected with the Nation of Islam. They're not connected with the Black Panther movement, the new Black Panther movement for self-defense. They're not connected with the Nation of Gods of Earth. They're not connected with the RBG, you know, the Revolutionary Black. Let me say they're not connected with any type of movement that like black people are part of. So how are y'all linking with you know, comrades and all of that? Who are your comrades? Antifa? The motherfuckers that's interrupting these protests that y'all out there doing and causing all this confusion? Oh, that's who y'all connected with? Oh, I'm sure y'all are, because y'all both funded by George Soros. Oh, are you talking about the LGBT? who you're associated with because they also believe in your transgender homosexuality philosophy? Oh, or is that who you're talking about? Yeah, that's exactly who y'all talking about. Okay, now they say it says we make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the patriarchal practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so that they can mother in private even as they participate in public justice work. Are you serious, man? Wow. So they're saying that we make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. Families to fully participate with their children. Okay, but also y'all saying that just before that y'all said that y'all want to make the man not the center of his family. So then who's participating with the children? It's just going to be the women. If that's the case, get the man out of the picture, and then we're going to focus on the women. And then the women are going to teach this transgender homosexual shit to their children. See what I'm saying? And then we get rid of all the strong black men, and we got a bunch of faggoty motherfuckers running around here and transgender who are confused about their sexuality. And now we just killed all the black warriors or any black people that would have did anything to really make change for themselves because we turned them all gay. And we made them change their fucking sexuality. Like, are you serious? Fuck out of here, man. See? So then it says we dismantle the patriarchal practice. You know what patriarchal practice is? Patriarchal practice is when the man is the head of the family. You know what I'm saying? Patriarchy. Patri meaning pater, coming from a Latin word pater, meaning father. So patriarchal is a family system based on the father, where the father is the head. Now, we know in Africa we have matriarchal systems, matri meaning matrix, the womb, the mother, maternity, whether the family was based on the woman as well. But in American society, we've always knew since the beginning this has been a patriarchal society. So why are they trying to act like we're not supposed to be hip with the times and get with the program so we could be successful? Like I just said before, the white man is the head of his family. He has a patriarchal system in his family and they're successful. The Poppy, he's the head of his family. They got a patriarchal system. He's the head of his family and they're successful. The Arab man got a patriarchal system. He the head of his family. They're successful. Why, when it comes to black family, the black woman want to say she's independent of the black man and then we're unsuccessful? So how does that add up? That does not add up. So we got to stop being influenced by outside people teaching us philosophies that they don't even practice themselves. They tell us this shit, but they don't practice it themselves. How long white people have been telling us about Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King? One day we shall all come together and blacks and whites shall walk together and hold hands and little black kids and little white kids. That shit ain't never going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Ain't never going to happen. And now look at all this stuff that's going on right now with all the racial tension and the confusion. How come they not talking about Martin Luther King now? How come they not talking about, remember what Martin Luther King said? We shall overcome. And blacks and whites shall be together. And how come they not talking that shit now? When the real shit is popping, well, it's fake planned shit, but you know, it's physical, real shit popping off. How come they're not talking that Martin Luther King shit now? Because they know that it's not an actual practical philosophy for right now and what's going on. But they pump that shit down our throats for so long that we believe in that philosophy, so we act in that way. Oh, turn the other cheek. Pray for those who use you spitefully. Pray for your enemy. Really? And you wonder why we still fucked up. Praying for your enemy, praying for the one who's beating and killing you. You're going to pray for them, but you're not going to pray for your own brother and your own sister who live right next door to you. You're not going to pray for them, though. You talk that fake shit. Oh, I'm going to pray for your brother. I'm going to pray for your sister. But you don't go home and actually do that shit. But when the white folks attack us, we be praying to God. Oh God, please just change the heart of these people. You know, let them see the power and the glory of you, Lord. But just change the heart of these white folks so they stop beating and killing us, Lord. Man, get out of here, man. Fuck out of here. That shit ain't changing nothing. That shit ain't never did nothing. That's why they gave us Martin Luther King and white Jesus. To make sure that you niggas don't never make no kind of real moves. You gonna turn the cheek when we beating you. You gonna pray for your enemy. And you gonna wait on white Jesus to save your ass. To fly out the sky and save your ass. You gonna keep on waiting on that. And guess what? We gonna keep beating y'all motherfucking ass and living in luxury the way that we do. While you keep complaining for change. While you keep marching up and down the street for change. While you keep calling us racist and expecting the same racist people gonna give you some kind of change. So, like I said, as far as they concerned, y'all niggas could protest and march all summer. They don't give a fuck. Corona shit is going on anyway, so they don't care. Give these niggas something to do. Go ahead, march up and down the street and talk about George Floyd. And next month we gonna kill another one of you niggas, and y'all gonna be talking about the next person we kill. And that's how it be going down. So this Black Lives Matter movement, y'all, is not good for us. It is a good percentage of what's actually causing us to be in the position that we in. And if we keep on getting involved in these type of so-called movements, which are not even actually movements, they're actually stagnations. This is stagnating us. Look at what they believe. Look at what they're saying about the family structure. Now, he says, we dismantle the patriarchal practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so that they can mother in private, even as they participate in public justice. So they're trying to say, like, we dismantled the patriarchal practice where women have to work double shifts. So what you're saying, you got men just sitting around while women are working double shifts and they not doing nothing? Like, are you serious? Fuck out of here. So if you just said you want to take the man out of being the center of the family, then obviously that's going to leave the woman to have to work double shifts, because you just said you want to take the man out of being the center of his family. Duh. Come on, man. The fuck? Look at this shit, man. Like, okay, now, we dismantle the patriarchal practice. The patriarchal practice is a man being the head of his family. If you're dismantling that, then you're saying you're dismantling the man being the head of his family. And then you say that requires women to work double shifts. Oh my gosh, what are you talking about? See, they said they're dismantling the practice that requires a woman to work. If a man if we was running on a patriarchal system and the man was the head of his family, then a woman wouldn't have to work double shifts. What are you talking about? They're saying they want to dismantle the man and then say it's his fault that the woman has to now work double shifts. That doesn't make sense. Keep the man in the family so she doesn't have to work double shifts. But the social service department and Black Lives Matter movement is agreeing with dismantling the patriarchal practice. So there's hypocrisy in the same sentence. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? So, and say she's working in private and public. Man, see, this is all bullshit, man. So now let's move on. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure required by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Now, look at that. It says, we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure. Do you know what the Western, and I'm not saying that I subscribe to the Western form of family structure either. But what I'm trying to say is that this is where we live, and this is how shit is structured. And other people are being successful by using this family structure. And if they're trying to alter our family structure to live otherwise, then we're not going to be successful as families. Don't y'all see that? Like, okay, everybody else, every other man be the head of his family and y'all be successful. But the black man, no, you take the back seat and let your woman say she's independent, and you niggas never get nowhere as a people. And you stay divided. You see? Come on, man. But everybody else, keep on looking up to your man to be the breadwinner, and he keeps on being respected as the head of his household. And then you have respect for your men in your communities, but black women have no respect for the men in their communities. So this is what they're promoting. But Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Fuck out of here, man. This is the bullshit they promoting. But all y'all hear is black. All you hear is black. Black lives matter. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, true. Yeah, black lives do matter. Black lives matter. And you out here promoting some shit that's destroying your fucking family. See what I'm saying? So now, wow. Now, now boom. We disrupt the Western prescribed family nuclear structure, which is, the man, the woman, the children, the man working, so forth, the woman taking care of the children, da 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 da. That's how it's been. So they say that they disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure required by supporting requirements by supporting each other as extended families and villages. So now, okay, we know the African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. Okay, that's peace, but they're not using that African proverb in that sense. They're saying, so don't have the structure, don't have the family structure. Peace to John J. Johnson in the building. Peace to Messiah Shallah. Peace to God in the building. Peace to Master Allah in the building. Peace God. Peace to Larkin Leonard in the building. Peace to Harold Simpson in the building. Appreciate y'all attendance. You know what I'm saying? We building on this Black Lives Matter website, and this is the what they believe section that I'm breaking down. And this is what they promoting to us, that we should be following this, we should be believing in this nonsense. Just go on their website and click on the what we believe section, and you'll be able to read everything I'm breaking down right now. And read it with the critical lens. As we know, we don't take anything on face value. You know what I'm saying? Because when we take it on face value, we just read that shit and we be like, oh yeah, see, they sound like they're doing something good for the black community. Yeah. Fuck out of here. I'm breaking this shit down. You know what I'm saying? For what it really means, not for what it appears to be. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, they say, we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure required by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Now, what do you mean mothers and parents? Isn't a mother a parent? So why didn't you just say parents? See, they put the mother before they say parents because they want to eliminate the man. See what I'm saying? They want to eliminate the man as if the man has no place in the family structure. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they put women, parents. You know what I'm saying? So first it's women, and if there are any men that are there, most likely you'll be a parent, but you'll be some transgender or some homosexual who adopted a child, and now you consider yourself a parent. You know what I'm saying? So these ain't real parents. You know what I mean? These are people who are adopting children and psychologically damaging these children by stealing, robbing them of their chance of a natural way of life and introducing them to this transgender, homosexual, so-called way of life and not giving them a chance to live their natural way of life. You know what I'm saying? That child, you don't know what that child want to be. You know what I'm saying? That child will want to be a natural child, but it's growing up around some parents who want this freaky, nasty shit all in the household. And this is what the children are seeing. You know what I'm saying? So come on, man. This ain't proper. This ain't right in his act. You know, and also too, now they're trying to say, so we disrupt the Western prescribed family structure as a man, woman, and a child taking care of a man and a woman taking care of their children, by supporting each other as extended families and villages. So you mean to tell me you a woman in a house and you got kids in the house? You're not supposed to look to the man who you had them kids by to go out there and produce something to support those kids. You're supposed to be calling extended families and villages to collectively care for one another, to take care of your kids. So if you ain't got no food in the house, you're supposed to call up a Black Lives Matter member and say, yo, there's no food over here. Can you guys send some food over here? And, I got to feed the kids. Or I don't have any money to get their school supplies and their school outfits and stuff. School come back around. Well, you going to call some Black Lives Matter member and they're going to come over there and give you money to get kids school clothes and stuff? Come on, man. This is ridiculous, man. See what I'm saying? That's not real. That's not what's taking place. So you mean to tell me they say they disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure, which the man taking care of his family and so forth, by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Really? So you mean to tell me all them people in the Black Lives Matter movement, all y'all kids is fed and all of y'all is living comfortably and y'all all taking care of each other as an extended community and all of that? Fuck out of here, man. Y'all lying like a motherfucker. Because if y'all was, then y'all had some more damn money to get some better signs than them fucking marker made signs y'all be having out there. Black Lives Matter should have some more money to get y'all some official signs that y'all can hold up. Some custom made signs, not some you went at home and you made your own little special sign and you out there holding it up that you glued and taped together. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. That movement should have some money so y'all can get some proper advertisement. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. This is bullshit, man. You know? So, but like I said, this the shit that they're promoting. And that's why we got to read it and break it down so we see what it really is. And okay, now it says, we foster, now peep this part. It says, we foster a queer affirming network. We foster a queer affirming network. Now we know what a queer is. You know what I'm saying? A queer is a male that considers himself a homosexual or whatever. We gather, we do so, when we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking. You see, oh my gosh, did y'all hear that? We foster a queer affirming network, meaning they network with gay men or gay people or whatever. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking. Heteronormative thinking is thinking normal as a heterosexual male, meaning like if you're a man and you're thinking about having sex with a woman, that's normal for a man to think like that. They're saying that this is a tight grip, as if it's hard for you to get away from thinking normal as a heterosexual. I think it would quite naturally be. I think it would be hard for you to stop thinking about women if you're a fucking man. I think it'd be hard for you to stop looking at ass and breasts if you're a man. You should be doing that because you're a man. It's in your nature. They just said, or they wrote in their belief system, that we do so, they foster a queer affirming network, and when they gather, they do so with the intention of freeing themselves from the tight grip of heteronormal thinking. So they consider that thinking like the natural men that they are, that that is a tight grip on their consciousness. It's hard for them to stop thinking like a man. It's hard for them to stop looking at a woman's breasts and thighs. It's hard for you to do that because you're a fucking man. You're supposed to. Like, what the fuck, man? Duh. But look, yo, this is what I'm saying. They're trying to psychologically brainwash us into being homosexual. See what I'm saying? And this is their belief system. That's why you got all these motherfuckers running around talking that faggoty, how I feel shit. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you're not thinking heteronormative. You're not thinking like that. Because if you was, you'll be speaking from the perspective of a black man, of a strong man, not like a weak, sensitive, soft, non-masculine man that you can't even call a man because now he's not acting like a man. See what I'm saying? So come on, man. So or rather the belief that all the world are heterosexual unless she or he or they disclose otherwise. Come on, man. See what I'm saying? So what the fuck? They trying to say that whoever is heterosexual, we need to put it out there that we are. Nigga, we don't need to disclose to you niggas that we are who we are. Like, fuck out of here. Y'all niggas need to define who y'all are. So I'm glad that a lot of these LGBT niggas be walking around with they colorful banners and all of that. So at least we know who y'all are. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's not running around with that, then more than likely they're not down with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, you know, if this nigga's not walking around and twitching himself, he's not fucking homosexual. Don't approach him like that because you might get your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? So you know by nature how to detect whether somebody is homosexual or not. You know what I'm saying? So now they're trying to make it seem like we got to disclose to the world, or rather say they're saying that they believe, or rather say that, or that they don't believe that everyone is necessarily heterosexual unless they disclose otherwise. So they try to say, well, we don't really think that you're gay unless you prove it. You have to prove it. Nigga, get out of here. Fuck out of here. We don't got to prove that shit to y'all. Like, y'all niggas fought and y'all paid Obama mad money so y'all could get rights to prove who y'all are, or for people to acknowledge who y'all are. You know what I'm saying? Heterosexual people don't have to do all of that. Nigga, we have children. That's how y'all know who we are. We have children. We got babies to show and prove. That's how we know. That's how we know that we have a lifestyle, because we promote life. We're not telling our children go with the same sex and not reproduce life, because that's a death style. That's a style of death. That's not a lifestyle. That's a death style. So we're obviously, if we got children, we're about life. You know what I'm saying? So it's quite obvious. And I'm not trying to say to everybody that got kids that they not on some homo shit, because you got a lot of niggas that got kids, a lot of niggas that say, oh, I'm not gay, I got a wife. Nigga, but you fucking niggas in the ass on the low. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you know what I mean? We ain't fooled by that either, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? On average, you know what I mean? We can show and prove because of the fact that, you know, we have children. And obviously we're about procreating and reproducing on the planet so that life can go on. So that even if a person naturally decided that they were homosexual or whatever, then at least they have the life to make that decision when they grow up and they feel that way on their own. You know what I'm saying? Not because it was promoted to them and because it was put in the school books and they promoting this shit in school, y'all. Y'all know that shit too? They promoting this shit in school. You know what I'm saying? They promoting this shit in school. They got college courses on the shit. You know what I mean? All kinds of shit, yo. So, you know what I mean? They're indoctrinating the society with this shit. And they're going to teach more about this shit than they do about Black history. You know how we get that little Black History Month, and we know that our history taught in this country is limited. So not only is our history limited, but you got a movement like Black Lives Matter in association with the LGBT who will fight to get their history and their philosophy taught in schools, which is, you only got like 6 hours in school. So how much time do you have to teach? Now their curriculum, their philosophy is going to be taking up time out of our curriculum. where we supposed to be learning about real history and black history, which is American history. So now black history got to take a back seat, because now we got to teach about homosexuality and transgender and how we have to all respect each other's beliefs and how we have to all, man, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the shit that now my child can't get a proper education because he got to learn about how men choose to, do the shit that they do. And come on, man, nah. And he has to be exposed to that. And he has to learn about that. Like, come on, man. That's why I would promote us to start homeschooling our kids too. You know what I'm saying? Homeschooling. I'm definitely gonna start looking into that for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because but actually I do want my kids to have the public school experience. So what I might do is, like, as they get older, I might do like 1 year private, 1 year public, 1 year private, 1 year public type thing, to kind of just so they get, feel of the public school experience. Because I don't want them to be antisocial and not have friends and not, and not do all the normal things that we did coming up. You know what I'm saying? And going back to what I was saying about holidays too, just like, the father, I was told that the father said, we don't necessarily believe in these holidays, but, we allow the babies to participate and have fun, but we also teach them the truth about these holidays. So, for example, if my son goes to school and they got this little Santa Claus thing going on, at home, I'm going to teach my son that, no, son, Santa Claus is not real. And, of course, that's some made up stuff. But when you at school, you can have fun and, participate in whatever little party or whatever they got going on. Because I'm not going to have my son sitting in the corner while all the other kids having fun and he's sitting there and he can't participate because daddy said that Santa Claus is Satan. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to do that to my child. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to have him be like antisocial like that. So, yeah, participate in these things, but also teach them the truth of these things. You know what I mean? So, just like I had a God tell me one time, he said, his kid's mother, she taking the kids to church and all of that. He the God, he don't believe in that or whatever. He don't bear witness to that. And he teaching his kids the truth. But at the same time, he said, maybe it's good that at least they have that experience. So at least they can know what that's about. And then when I give them the truth about it, then they're going to be able to decipher the difference more so than them just going to church, being brainwashed. And then there's nobody at home to tell them that Jesus and all of that fairy tale stuff is not actually what they say it is. You know what I'm saying? So, you got to have somebody to tell them the truth. And that's what I was saying about, mythology. In school, they taught us Greek mythology. How come they never taught us African mythology? Because African mythology is rooted in esoteric metaphysical sciences, which will enlighten you. See, but they taught us Greek mythology because the Greeks, like I said before, the Greeks stole the African history. They stole the African deities and they changed them from African deities to Greek deities. So, like I said, for example, Osiris, who was properly known as Asar, they changed him to Zeus. And Hera, which was the wife of Zeus, became, or Isis, who was properly known as Aset, who is the Holy Spirit, who is the divine mother. She was made into Hera, and then Heru, who was properly known as Horus, who was properly known as Heru, became Hercules. Hercules. You know what I'm saying? Heru became Hercules. You know what I'm saying? They changed Heru to Hercules. You know what I mean? And Heru was the African god, and they changed that to a Greek god, so-called god. So you see what they did? They took our history and they changed it. And then they indoctrinate us in school and they tell us about Greek mythology and so-called Greek gods. And then when we refer to gods, we talk about Zeus and Hercules, and we think that these are gods. No, these are Greeks who stole your history. You understand? Or stole your mythology, and then they gave you watered down versions of your own story. And they changed your story. You know what I'm saying? So that's why history is his story. You know what I'm saying? History is his story. And that's what they did. He gave us his story. We don't know our story anymore. And when we hear our story, we so ashamed to associate with our story. We be like, oh man, I don't want to hear that Africa stuff. I don't want to hear that Africa stuff. And you're ashamed of your own self. Because at the end of the day, whether you want to acknowledge yourself, you still are who you are. So by you ignoring it doesn't change who you are. You know, so you know you got all those Uncle Tom ass niggas walk around with their nose in the air thinking they not black or they better than black people because they got a little job or they sell out to white people and they act all like house niggas. Nigga, you still black. And just because you got that position, that just makes you what's called a token Negro. You know what I'm saying? A Negro they put in that position to make the other black people think that, see, you do have successful black people. See, look at Michael Jordan. See the way that nigga bounces that basketball up and down the court? That nigga has millions of dollars. Look at him. See? Remember that commercial? I wanna be like Mike. I like to be like Mike. You know what I'm saying? And Nike promoted all little black kids to want to be like Mike, right? They made him an icon to black kids, right? Because they know not every black kid is gonna make it to the NBA. But every little black kid, 9 out of 10 of them, is out there on the basketball court trying to strive to be like their idol. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm trying to say is that they grow up with the mentality that the only option they have is being a basketball player or a famous rapper, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, something like that. And the options are limited. So if this is all they're promoting us to be, then this is all we're going to become, so-called. You know what I mean? Because we haven't been taught to think outside of the box. You know what I mean? But anyway, let me get back to this, finishing up this Black Lives Matter nonsense. So now in the last sentence, what they said is we cultivate an intergenerational and communal network free of ageism. So in other words, anybody, any age can join in the Black Lives Matter movement, whether you're young, you're old, middle age, whatever, anybody can join. Says we believe that all people, regardless of age, show up with the capacity to lead and learn. Okay. So now we know quite naturally that the elders are supposed to lead the younger. You know what I'm saying? The older people are supposed to lead the younger people. That's why I was out there at that protest in Queens, in Queens, over there where they marched down to the precinct. And I was out there with them young kids, and there was older people that was out there with them that the young kids were looking up to. And he was out there in the front, and he was, over there by the gate, up in the police face, and talking shit and making noise, and I, when he came back over, I pulled him to the side, like, listen, OG, I hear you, fam, I feel you, you know what I'm saying, but remember, we got these young kids out here, and they don't got no arms to fight these police. So if the police try to turn up, you know what I'm saying, we not gonna be able to defend them, and they not gonna be able to defend themselves. So, let's keep it to let's calm it down, and let's not turn up too much. And really, he was older than me. You know what I'm saying? So really, he should have been telling me something like that, or he should have been out there telling those younger kids something like that. But by me talking to that older man and getting him to calm down, that also calmed down the younger kids that look up to him. Because if we got the older people out there doing whatever, then the younger kids going to follow the older people. So when they talk about they don't have ageism and all of that, like anybody can join and everybody comes out with the same capacity to lead, that's not true. Because we're supposed to look at the older people for wisdom and guidance. You know what I'm saying? And the younger, we're supposed to look at for strength and power. You know what I'm saying? Because the young, the strength is in the young. The old people ain't gonna get out there and physically fight. So if these young kids are gonna get out there and physically stand up against the police, they need the wisdom and the guidance of the elders so they don't go out there and foolishly get hurt. And who are the elders they should be listening to? Not these Bible thumping, let's pray to Jesus ass niggas. Not these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna lead them young kids to be out there and get hurt. They should be listening to motherfuckers like Black Panthers who gonna tell these young kids, well, listen, you know, First Amendment our Second Amendment gives you the right to bear arms. And since none of y'all young kids have felonies and a lot of you are over 18, you know that you can get a legal firearm to protect yourself, right? That would be some wisdom. So now when you out here up in the police face and they got guns, you can have guns too. Wouldn't that be some wisdom from the elders for those young kids out there? Don't get these kids all wild up and rally up and yeah. And the police do what they do and hurt these kids and they ain't got no protection. That's not wise. That's not being an elder. See what I'm saying? So come on now. You know, like I was talking to this brother, you know what I'm saying? He's supposed to have knowledge of self. He's like, yeah, I sent my kids out there. I said, God, was that wise? Why would you send your kids out there and you not out there with them? You know how these police be turning up. They out there because a police killed somebody. So don't you know they could kill somebody again and you going to send your kids out there and not be with them? Come on, man. See, so the reality is, and knowledge this, you got a lot of these older people that they was there back in the 60s and the civil rights marches and all of that. And, you know, they old and tired. You know what I'm saying? They might get out there and march, but they've been doing that shit decades ago. So if they ain't get us nowhere by now, they should not be promoting these kids to be out there doing the same thing. They should teach them some more updated tactics on how to go about things. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, like, they might be out there marching with them, but it seems like what these older people are doing, these older people are acting like, yeah, see, the youth are standing up now, and the youth, they tired of this, and they want to see some change. And man, cut that shit out. You sending your kids out there to fight a fight that your old ass was supposed to fight 10, 20, 30 years ago, and your ass never stood up. You went in the house and you prayed to Jesus, and you set your bitch ass down, and you never stood up and fought for nothing. And you taught your kids the same thing. But now that the physical reality is confronting the youth, they not out there screaming, no, Jesus gonna save us. They out there saying, fuck the police and we ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? So, because the physical reality is confronting them. And they parents and they grandma, yeah, they love their grandma and all that, and they love their parents and all that, but mama, you sit at home, daddy, you sit at home, the youth is out there doing what they doing. And it's a shame that it's like that, because the elders should be out there. But the reality is that the elders gave them that Martin Luther King, pray for your enemy philosophy, that when it's time to fight your enemy and stop praying and fight your enemy, now our older parents and grandparents, they still talking that pray for your enemy shit. So that doesn't add up. It don't add up. The youth is ready to get it in. You know what I'm saying? And the elder people out there, and they know that the youth have a right to do something, but the reality is they old ass ain't gonna stand up, so you're gonna let your kids go out there and with no defense and so-called march for justice. That's some punk pussy shit, mama, daddy, grandma, granddaddy. Get your ass out there with your kids and your grandkids if they out there. You know what I'm saying? If you letting them march out there and you letting them, you know, do what they do, then you be out there with them. You know what I'm saying? Don't be sitting in the house watching this shit on TV and your grandkids out there getting hurt or something happened to them and you watching it on the TV. Come on now. Nah. You know. So anyway, so that whole ageism thing, see how I just broke that down about ageism and all of that? They didn't express none of that in their belief thing on here. They just gave you that whole, oh, we don't discriminate against age and anybody can join. Young, old, middle age, it doesn't matter. Oh. See, that's what I talk about. They talk that surface level shit that sounds good on the surface level. But when you really go into the reality of how it applies to the people, it don't apply. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't apply. Because in the reality, that shit ain't real. That shit ain't what's going on. So anyway, the last sentence, it says, we embody and practice justice, liberation, and peace in our engagements with one another. Okay. We embody and practice justice, liberation, and peace in our engagements with one another. So now let's go back to let's deal with practice. Let's deal with justice. Now we know that justice is the reward for good and the punishment for wrongdoing or for evil. So if they said in the beginning of their thing that they intervene when violence is inflicted in the black community by the state, then what real justice are y'all bringing about against the state? Are y'all getting these police that are killing these black people prosecuted, or any kind of legal justice? Because we know y'all ain't gonna bring about no street justice. Even though y'all out there in the street, y'all ain't bringing about no street justice. Y'all not holding court in the street. We already know that. Y'all playing games and humming and praying and marching in the street. Y'all not holding court in the street. So we already know that. So legally, are y'all getting these people prosecuted, or have any other people that y'all promote for Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, and the list goes on. All of these people y'all got on your website that y'all say y'all trying to avenge the death of. Has any other people, those cops that killed them, have any of them been prosecuted? Because y'all should have that on y'all website too. Like, look, y'all, this is the work we've been putting in. See that dirty cop that killed so-and-so? Look, we got him prosecuted and we got him sentenced to 25 to life. And this other cop, since he killed like 8 black people, we got him the death penalty. You don't see none of that shit on their website. You don't see none of that. Search their whole website. You don't see none of that. So what real justice are y'all bringing about? Because like I said, we already know it ain't street justice. So what kind of political or legal justice are y'all bringing about? None. You know what I mean? Liberation. Now we know liberation simply means to have liberty. It's not the same thing as freedom. That's why they say they're still fighting for freedom. But they say they can practice liberation. And if y'all say no justice, no peace, then that means that y'all should be actually practicing justice too. And if y'all practicing justice, then why y'all out there saying no justice, no peace? Y'all demanding justice. If y'all were practicing the justice and bringing about the justice, like I said, how the Black Panthers were policing the police, then y'all would actually be bringing about the justice that's needed, so that the people can have liberation, at least the little freedom they have to roam their community without being shot down by the police, without being pulled over and harassed, without being stereotyped and racially profiled. You know what I'm saying? They should have that liberation. And as far as the peace, like I said, y'all out there saying no justice, no peace. But like I say, and I'm gonna end on this, and I'm so glad that's the end of their line, because that brings me to the whole point of what they be screaming. No justice, no peace. I say turn it around and say, if the police don't keep the peace, then y'all gonna bring about justice. That's what y'all need to say. No peace. Justice. Peace or justice. Peace or justice. Peace or justice. You know what I'm saying? That's what y'all should be saying. And y'all should be demanding of the police officers. Oh yeah, let me go back to that. The police officer was, before 1935 and all of that, they were known as the police officers were known as peace officers. You know, like a peacemaker, and a peacemaker goes back to the sheriff, because the sheriff comes from the word sharif, which means peace, or one of peace, peacemaker. Just like even the peacemaker used to have the gun, and he called it a peacemaker. Yeah, because to end violence and to end war, sometimes you bring out that peace, and you bring about some real peace. You know what I'm saying? Because when the smoke is cleared, you know what I'm saying, you're going to see what happens. So the same thing. We need to be armed, and we need to have peacemakers as well. Second Amendment gives us a right to bear arms. So we should have peacemakers as well. The police shouldn't be the only ones with peacemakers, because they're not using it for peace. They're using it for war. The police firearms are war makers, not peacemakers. They're using it for war. They're warring, and their target is mainly black men, and young black men at that. You know what I mean? They want to target a young black man. You know, and black people in general, you know what I'm saying? And any other dark-skinned person who may associate themselves as black or acknowledge themselves as black or associate with black people. So that's why the society, you got a lot of these other races that come over here and don't want to associate with so-called black people because their parents tell them, listen, these people, blah, 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 their history over here and white people did this to them and that, stay away from them. I don't want you to get in trouble. I just want you to go to school, my son, get an education and make your money. And we're going to go back to our country. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want you to do. Okay. And yeah, that's what they teach their kids. So a lot of times the kids don't want to associate with us. But however, when you're in school, yeah, you might hear what your parents say at school. But when you're in school and you're in the lunchroom or you're in the cafeteria or you're in the gym or you're in the locker room, man, you're gonna be forced to deal with different races of people. It's just is what it is. So that's not something you can necessarily stop, but due to the indoctrination, like for example, they did the sandbox experiment, where they took young kids of all different races and they put them in a sandbox. And then the young kids, they just played together naturally. They didn't see color. They didn't see nationality. They didn't see, well, this person's from here, from there. This person lives here or lives there. They were just young kids playing, just naturally playing. So that experiment was to go to show you that within the true nature of all humans or most humans, you know what I'm saying, we can just naturally get along. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're in kindergarten, the word kindergarten, kinder garden, it's a kinder garden. It's a garden that they place the kids in and they teach them manners, they teach them how to count, how to play together, they teach them kindness. That's what kindergarten is for. And the reason why they put you in kindergarten before you go to first grade is because a lot of times parents ain't teaching their kids manners and how to be kind at home. So they got to rear these children before they can sit them down and teach them the curriculum. So you have kindergarten or kinder garden before you go to first grade, second grade, and so forth and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So that's the purpose of kinder garden, or what we call kindergarten. It's a kinder garden. You know what I'm saying? And this is to teach the children to grow and learn how to be multicultural, learn how to get along, how to play, how to share, you know what I mean? How to, and all that good stuff. So that's what kinder garden is for. That's what kindergarten is for. You know what I mean? But when you get older and you get into school and you got different subjects like, history, global studies, and then global studies is predominantly taught by a whitewashed Eurocentric curriculum. So now you're going to get taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America. You're going to get taught, George Washington, he's the first president of the United States, even though we know that there was 8 black presidents before George Washington who actually went under what was known as the Articles of Confederation. And one of those presidents was a black man by the name of John Hanson, who, when you look on the back of the dollar bill, you see him. He's the one with the white gloves on. You see the black man on the back of the $2 bill. He's the only one with white gloves on. So that's how you can tell him out of the picture. And the reason why he had the white gloves on is because the white gloves represented the master mason. You know what I'm saying? Because, of course, he was a mason. So, and the real founding fathers of this country were black men. Did y'all know that? Yeah. And you heard that expression when they say George Washington chopped down the cherry tree? That's Masonic language that describes the fact that George Washington, when he was inaugurated into the White House, and he was inaugurated by John Hanson. John Hanson was the Moor, who was a Muslim, also a Mason, who inaugurated George Washington into office. And when George Washington was inaugurated, he went outside the White House and he took down the Moorish flag, which was the red flag with the green star, symbolic of a cherry tree. He took down the Moorish flag and he put up the American rag with the 13 stars representing the 13 colonies that they had conquered at that time. So George Washington chopping down the cherry tree was symbolic language that was describing the fact that he took down the Moorish flag, because the Moors are the ones who founded this country and gave the Europeans the permission to operate in commerce in this country. And understand that the Constitution was a trust, and the Declaration of Independence was the declaration of trust. See what I'm saying? Understand? So they've been dealing with trust law since the so-called founding of this country. So, like I said before, the Declaration of Independence was a declaration of trust, and the Constitution itself was a trust. And you know how they put in the courtroom, "In God we trust"? You are the God that they trust, or that they made a trust out of. Because like I mentioned, the straw man, how they put your name in all capital letters and they turn you, the living being, into a corporation. You got the living you and you got the paper you. You got the real you and you got you on paper. So you know how they say, "Oh, we got you because you signed this paper. You put your signature. Your name is on that paper." And they connect you to that name. So that name is labeled, they have that name on your birth certificate. And your birth certificate is an inventory sheet that labels you as property. So you are property to them. They consider you to be their property. And that's why, like I said, when they give you a New York State ID, or when you are willingly, through your consent, because remember, govern means to control and ment is the mind. So government means to control the mind. And government, the government can only govern due to the consent of the people, meaning the people have to agree with it in order for them to do it. So with this whole corona thing, the only reason why we wearing masks is because we consent to it. We agree to it. We listen to Cuomo on the TV every morning telling you, "Keep your mask on, stop the coronavirus, blah, 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 blah. People are dying, oh. And then we get scared and we comply and we consent and we agree. And hence, it's not a require. And like he even tell you out his own mouth, he's trying to get Trump to pass a executive order to make it mandatory to wear the mask. So right now, the mask is not mandatory, but he's trying to make it mandatory. And understand this, that mask is to basically silence you so that you don't speak while all of this is going on. So you suffer in silence. You see what I'm saying? So knowledge that. You know what I mean? So while we all thinking a mask is going to save us from a fucking virus, come on, man. You learn in 6th grade science, or at least 8th grade science, about viruses. And what you learn about viruses is that viruses transmit or transfuse or they transfer through fluid transmission or mixing of fluids. So in other words, you got to basically be kissing somebody, tongue kissing somebody, having unprotected sex, or mixing blood literally, with somebody in order to contract a virus. You know what I mean? So a person walking by and they cough or sneeze, you're not necessarily going to get a virus like that. Now, if you standing right next to that person and you all up under them and you want to get the damn virus, then yeah, you might get that shit. But on average, you're not going to get it by the average person. And remember too, they say corona causes lung inflammation, respiratory inflammation. So that means that your lungs swell up. So if you got corona, you're not going to be walking around breathing normally. Your lungs are going to be swollen and you're going to need to go to the hospital. See what I'm saying? Come on, man. That's common sense. So the average person walking around does not have no damn corona. And even if they might got the symptoms right now, you know what I'm saying? They would know if they had the symptoms because they would feel sick. You know what I mean? And if you feel sick, and that's why Trump even told you common sense. He said, "I'm not a doctor, but I have common sense." You know what I'm saying? He said, if you feel sick, don't go to the hospital. You don't have to go to the hospital. If you feel sick, then if you feel like you want to go, then go. He didn't make it mandatory. See, that's why people need to listen to what that man say and stop listening to the TV and cutting up his words. The man said, if you want to go, if you feel sick and you feel like going, then go. But you don't have to go. So, but listening to Cuomo, he'll tell you, go down and get tested. We want to keep everybody safe. Huh? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Keep everybody safe and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But in all actuality, he's not keeping anybody safe. He's promoting he's promoting the bullshit. He's fear mongering. You know what I'm saying? Getting everybody afraid and keeping everybody nervous so that you keep participating in the false reality called coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say false reality is because it is a reality that there is an actual virus, but it's not real that people are dying at the rate that they say people are dying. But right now, I know my phone is dying and it's got 3% and it's about to cut off. So on that note, I'm going to say peace, y'all. I love y'all. Go back and share this video. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up on the Facebook and all that good stuff, man. Watch all my other videos. I'll be dropping mad jewels just like you heard now. You know what I'm saying? And it's for the edification of the people, for the realization of the people, for the people to get the knowledge, for the people to get the understanding, people to know what's going on in this day and time, and, you know, not be confused and lied to by all the, you know, the the fake news, as Trump is constantly telling you about, the fake news. You know what I'm saying? Because, yes, don't believe the hype, y'all. Peace.